Hello and happy happy Wednesday. Happy Wellness Wednesday. This happens to be a Wednesday that I am going live. I am Julie with Balance Life with Julie, regenerative health practitioner and holistic nutritionist. And today I wanted to talk about a really fun topic. Well, fun for me, maybe not so fun for everyone else. But the topic that I wanted to talk about is food quality. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this is because this is so important when it comes to our overall health and well being. And unfortunately, this is something that is missing in most people's lives. And that's why their health is suffering so terribly. Like everywhere I go, what I see is food, things that are called food, but aren't actually food. And consequently, it's no surprise that what's happening for people is that they're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. The Superfoods company that I've been partnered with now for 6 years, there's a slogan that goes on all of the packaging at the top, and it says, "The quality of food you eat equals the quality of life that you live." And unfortunately, most people are eating food that isn't even recognized by the body as food. It is highly toxic. It is GMO. It's full of additives, preservatives, toxic chemicals, and things like glyphosate and fillers and food colorings and things like that. And even for people like, let's say you're somebody who's like, well, Julie, I'm trying to make better decisions. I go to the grocery store, I'm in the produce aisle, I'm buying more produce. But the thing is that you don't know where that produce is coming from. Like if it's not, even if it's organic, you don't know where the produce is coming from. You don't know the type of soil it was grown in. You don't know what it was sprayed with in order for it to get to the grocery store. And actually, until very recently, I think this just came out in the last 2 weeks, even for organic produce, they were spraying organic produce with something called Apeel, which was meant to like preserve the produce for a longer period of time. But essentially, it was spraying a toxic chemical onto the produce. And there were stores that were refusing to carry any produce that was sprayed with or treated with Apeel. Now, thankfully, in the last couple of weeks, what has come to pass is that Apeel is going away. Sorry, my hair is like bugging me today. Total aside. So Apeel is going away. So that's one less thing that we have to worry about, at least when it comes to organics. But even still, if you are somebody who's like purchasing organic, you do have to pay attention to like what type of soil was that food grown in? And is there a field nearby that's spraying chemicals? So even if you have one farm that's organic, the farm next door could be spraying all kinds of toxic chemicals and things that you don't even know how to pronounce onto the food. And so the type of food that you're getting and the food quality really, really matters, because food is energy and information for your cells and tissues. And so when it's full of additives and preservatives and GMOs, your body literally does not know what that information is. It gets confused. It can't break it down. And especially when it comes to the chemicals and the additives and the preservatives, that puts a lot of stress on your liver, on your gut. That ends up getting stored up into fat tissue, right? Because if your body can't process it, what is it going to do? It is going to chuck it away, usually in fat storage. So oftentimes when people are carrying extra weight on them, what they're really carrying on their body is inflammation and a lot of toxicity, a lot of chemical and heavy metal toxicity. And yes, you can get heavy metals from the foods that you're eating as well. Now, so if you are somebody who's trying to be conscious and you're going to the grocery store and you're trying to stick to the produce aisle, great. That is an amazing start. But it's also very, very important to start asking some deeper questions like, where is that produce coming from? What kind of soil was it grown in? How long did it spend in transport? Because as soon as you take something up out of the ground, it starts to lose its nutritional content. And in fact, I read something several months ago that said that the spinach that you're buying at the grocery store has 0% of vitamin C by the time you buy it. And the other thing we have to really look at seriously is how food is stored. So, a lot of food is stored in single use plastic packaging, and microplastics are a very serious problem, right? Most people are swallowing about a credit card size worth of microplastics over the course of their week through the things that they're eating. So whether it's their hot beverages that they're getting at a coffee shop with those compostable cups, or whether it's the takeout containers that they're getting when they're doing Uber Eats or they're doing a takeout lunch, like all those plastics on the inside of those containers, when you put hot food in there, they start to melt. And that's what you're putting into your body. And it's creating a stress and a strain. Now, what is the issue with microplastics? Well, they're endocrine disrupting, and some of them are actually even linked to cancer. It is not a surprise that so many women and men have issues with fertility now. And a lot of those issues stem from the use of microplastics within the food supply, microplastics that people are putting into their body. Now, thankfully, it is possible to remove microplastics from your body, just like it's possible to remove chemicals and heavy metals and glyphosate. It is possible to get those things out of your body. But so I want you to really consider two sides of the equation here. The first side is always the quality of food that you're putting in. So if you're eating fast food and processed sugar and lots of dairy and meat and potatoes and tons of things that and GMOs and things that your body can't break down, the first thing you have to do is you absolutely have to start changing your diet, and shift over to more organic foods. Now, you might be thinking or saying to yourself, well, I can't afford to buy all organic. Okay, I get it. So then what you want to look at is the EWG website. Go to ewg.org and look at the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 list. And whatever you see on the Dirty Dozen list, those are the foods that are sprayed with the most amount of pesticides and herbicides and chemicals. So those are the foods that you absolutely want to be getting organic. And then you'll get to see what the Clean 15 is. And basically with the Clean 15, if you can't get those foods organic, that's okay. It's not as serious. So that's the first thing to do, is to start swapping out foods and putting in more living foods into your body. For myself personally, I've sworn by superfoods now for over 6 years, because they're all regeneratively grown. There's no additives, no preservatives, no processed sugars. Everything is tested like 36 times from seed to package. It is literally the purest food that I have come across. And even though I try and grow some of my own food in the summer, and I have a local regenerative farmer that I get some produce from, I still love and appreciate the superfoods, because I get to have so much more variety in terms of the fruits and the veggies and the herbs. And I know that it's more nutritionally dense than anything that I'm buying at a grocery store. And the reason that it's more nutritionally dense is because as soon as everything is picked, it's actually dehydrated at low temperature to preserve the nutrients and the enzymes. And I can feel the difference in my body when I have one of the superfood shakes. And I've worked with it in my practice now for over 6 years. And my clients feel a difference in their body when they have the superfoods, like their energy, their mood, their sleep, everything starts to improve within a few days. So it's pretty powerful. So that's the first side of the equation, is to start to really swap out some of the foods. So where you are, try and look and see if you can find a regenerative farmer, someone who's not spraying their fields, someone who's very mindful of the soil and nurturing the soil. Because remember, when it comes to fruits and vegetables, our nutrients are coming from the soil. soil. So if the soil has been chemically sprayed and it doesn't have any nutrients in it, then you might be eating a tomato, but you're essentially eating dead food. There's no living nutrients or enzymes in it. So that's the first side of the equation. And then the other side of the equation is whatever chemical and heavy metal toxicity that you have accumulated in your system over a period of, years, decades, lifetime. It's very, very important to get those chemicals and toxins out of your body, because over time they will create problems if they haven't already. So maybe you haven't noticed a big shift, but chances are, the longer that goes on, there'll be more and more issues, because if we don't get rid of what accumulates in the body, it only takes a matter of time before things start to show up. And I can tell you honestly, from my own health journey, I've reversed hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's 100% holistically. And the detoxification side of the equation was a very, very important piece for me regaining my health. So not only addressing the chemicals and the heavy metals, but also addressing parasites, which is very, very important, and improving the quality of my food. So improving the quality of my food, getting rid of foods that were toxic and GMO, and adding in the micronutrient dense superfoods that I work with, and then also focusing on gut health and detoxification. Had I not done both sides, had I just focused on the food alone and not done anything in terms of detoxification, I don't think I would have the results that I currently have when it comes to my health. The other thing is that when it comes to detoxification, it's not like kind of like this one and done deal that a lot of people think of. They're like, oh, well, I'll just do this like detox thing for 30 days or 60 days and then I'm done. That's not how it really works. Like when I look at others like myself who have been doing this work for years, what I have found, even for on my own health journey and working with others, is that it's very hard to eliminate everything in one go. And so it's like most of the time I'm putting people on 3 to 4 month protocols. And then we kind of go into like this maintenance phase. And then we have to go back in and do some deeper work. And the reason for that is that there's so much that accumulates in our body over our entire lifetime that it just takes time to unravel all of those things and really get to the root of what is happening. So I know for myself personally that there are things that I'm still undoing and unpacking, and that's why every year I do like at least one kind of intensive protocol a year, sometimes two, depending on the year. And other than that, I make sure that I maintain my diet. So I don't eat processed foods. I don't eat junk food. I don't eat fast food. I really focus on quality nutrition because I want to make sure that my body is getting what it needs. Hang on. I'm like, every time I do a live, I always end up sneezing. Apologies for that. So anyway, yeah, what I was saying is that it takes like time and it's levels and layers. And even once we've done a protocol, we're still in an environment where we're breathing in chemicals and toxins. And it's, even as hard as I try to be organic all the time, it's very, very difficult. So yeah, it's inevitable that you're going to end up putting things in your body that have chemicals to some degree or another. And anything that is water soluble in the atmosphere, like say glyphosate, that's coming into your body through your skin no matter what. So even if you are trying to be very conscientious about your diet, there are things that are going to get into your body just because of the way that the environment is. And so keeping that in mind, that's why it's really, really important to do one intensive protocol a year, 3 to 4 months, possibly, depending on what's going on. And then make sure that you treat this like changing your diet and your lifestyle, make sure that you treat it as a lifestyle change, not something that you try on for a week or 2 weeks. The people that I see that stay healthy and fit and are thriving well into their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, these are people who decided to make a permanent shift. And that's really like, unfortunately, there's so much messaging out there that is basically lying to people. You know, there's messaging out there about having things in moderation and balance and things like that. It's really as simple as this. Everything that you put into your body is either promoting health or it's promoting disease. It's one or the other. And if you want to create health, you're not going to get healthy and be thriving by making poor decisions when it comes to your diet and your lifestyle. Anybody who's telling you that you can dance this line of moderation, they're just lying to you because they want you to buy their program. To me personally, like, I don't dance the line of moderation. There are certain things that I just don't do because I know they're not healthy. So why would I disrespect my body, my God-given temple, with stuff that I know isn't going to help me to thrive? I just don't even bother wasting my time, right? And that might sound harsh to people that haven't, really gotten around to thinking about their relationship with food. But the fact of the matter is that we live in a world where sick people are big business, and keeping people fat, sick, and miserable is kind of the name of the game. That's what it is. And keeping people addicted to certain foods, that is also a part of the whole kind of, system and the way that it's set up. And it's set up that way on purpose to really not support people's health, not to support people in thriving. And for myself personally, I'm all about giving people the tools and the techniques to create health and vitality in their body that's not going to be around for, like, it's not just going to be for a week or 2 weeks or 2 months. It's really about creating this lasting lifestyle that is going to help them to thrive well into old age, because all of us are worthy and deserving of health and well-being. But something that a lot of people don't talk about is the fact that we have a personal responsibility to ourselves, that if you want to create health, you actually have to do things that create healthy habits, which means eating properly, getting to sleep on time, moving your body, detoxing properly, taking care of yourself like you actually love yourself. That's how you create health and well-being, is you treat yourself with love and respect. True love and respect is actually taking care of your physical vessel and yourself, mind, body, and spirit. It's not abusing your vessel through food and alcohol and things that are, if you see it in pop culture and you see it advertised on TV, you probably need to be staying away from it. Just saying. All right. So we talked about the quality of food, how to source some high quality food. If you check the links below this video, when this video kind of goes up, there is my link to the Superfoods page or the Superfoods website, and there's a discount code, a 25% off code. There's also the link to the program that I did to reverse hypothyroidism and Hashimoto. So be sure to check that out. And I also have a membership called Elevate. And that membership is really for people who want to be guided step by step on how to get their health back on track. I'm really hoping that not both my dogs are going to start barking, because I can hear one of them down there. And it's to kind of cut through the noise. It's to cut through the noise that's out there. All of my programs, whether someone's working with me individually or working in the group, the way that I design programs is really focused on how the human body works, how it functions, and the protocols are designed according to addressing the root causes of chronic illness, addressing hydration, addressing nutrition, detoxification, and really giving you the tools. Harley, no, giving you the tools to get your health back on track. I figured out what it was. My other half was at the door, and that's why one of my dogs is losing her mind. All right. This makes this live that much more exciting. Yeah, so I very quickly want to shift gears to mindset. And I want to talk about this just because mindset is as important as overall like diet and nutrition and lifestyle habits. In fact, it's kind of the foundation, really. It's like what we think, what we is what we become. That's a saying by the Buddha. And it's really, really important to become mindful of where you're putting your focus, where you're putting your energy, where you're putting your attention. And so, one of the things that I was thinking about the other day is like how important it is to pay attention to the inputs that you're giving yourself. So, inputs are like, what are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you allowing into your consciousness? And these things have a profound effect on how we move and how we are in this world. So, for example, like, if someone's watching something that is like really, really violent, like a lot of violent content, chances are it's going to create like anger and these issues within that individual that are going to show up in other ways. And so I was talking to a neighbor of mine a few days ago, and he was talking about like how very recently he went on a trip and the news was reporting that part of the world a certain way. And he found that in his experience, there was nothing wrong, like everything was fine. So he's like, I'm not going to watch the news anymore. And I said to him, I said, you know what? Life gets profoundly more peaceful when you don't listen to the news, because most of the news is all about sensationalism. It's all about keeping people in fear and keeping people upset and agitated. And there's no space for that if you're wanting to create health and well-being. So personally, I don't read the newspaper. I don't listen to the news. I don't scroll on social media. Even though I am on social media, I go on social media to reply to comments, to post. That's about it. Um, yeah. And then even when I'm consuming content, I'm pretty particular. I have certain types of content that I might be looking at, whether it's things in the health space because I'm researching something, or something in the spirituality space, because that's kind of like where my headspace is these days, is really up leveling myself emotionally and spiritually. And so I don't give any focus or energy or attention to things that are really about being negative or driving negativity. The other thing is that even when it comes to like say music, I don't listen to music anymore, because a lot of the stuff that's in pop culture, it's really misogynistic. It's like it's kind of like if you listen to the lyrics of a lot of songs, especially a lot of popular songs, you'll notice like those are not words that you want to be saying. And so I've become very, very mindful of the inputs that I'm taking in. And as a result, most of the time I tend to listen to some type of educational content or spiritual content. And I don't really, occasionally I might listen to a podcast, but I don't really listen to other types of content. And when I'm on social media, I'm very, very deliberate about what I'm going on for, what my purpose is, and not getting pulled into like any kind of rabbit holes. And so just do a little audit for yourself. Like, where are you putting your focus? Where are you putting your energy? How is that making you feel? And especially when it comes to things like the news and social media, have a little diet. Do like a 30-day break from, one or the other or both, and notice how that starts to affect your mood and your well-being. I promise you that if you are somebody who's been paying attention to the news or social media and like doing the doom scrolling, if you stop doing that, that alone, you're going to feel a shift in your energy and your mood. And that's going to motivate you to do other things. Like, I remember like before when I used to scroll, that I didn't feel that good about myself afterwards, even though even though I'm, you know, uh, doing well for myself, there was something about it that just didn't help me to feel good about myself. So I stopped. I like just stopped doing that because it wasn't worth my time or my energy. And I really became deliberate about where I want to put my focus. And I'm like that about absolutely everything. So I hope this helps you in some way. Start to incorporate it into your life, and let me know in the comments how it goes. If you are not already following this page or this channel, please subscribe because it really helps me out and helps me to see that this content is reaching the people that I would love for it to reach. If you're interested in any of my programs, please check the caption and the link below. Yeah, if you like this video, please share it with others. And I look forward to seeing you in the next live. Bye for now.